Howdy, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Pentecast podcast. Alongside me is my good buddy, Andrew Bella. Hey, guys. And I'm his faithful co-host, Ryan Sellers.
Welcome to another episode of the Pentecast podcast. If you haven't noticed, me and Ryan are hanging out again, another episode right here in the studio. Because guess what, folks?
We're lazy.
I have been so busy, I can't breathe. And so I've actually decided to finish the job in the studio by hiring it out. And we are praying that the gentleman that we have hired can get it done for us. And I have no doubt that he can, because I am tired of delivering promises to the American people and not keeping them. So what I've done in my administration is I've hired the work out, and the building will be completed before the fall of 2021. Thank you, and God bless the podcast.
You lost your re-election bid, sir.
It was rigged.
It was rigged.
Now that we're doing the whole nonprofit thing, that it's actually a board, so like I could actually get voted off this thing that I've created. It's highly likely that will happen eventually.
Do you have the line item veto?
I don't know where do I get it.
I don't know. You're the CEO. You can just make it up.
You don't buy it like Target. Speaking of which, let me tell you a story, okay?
All right.
So
I'm afraid.
Me and Jerry Brinson, a gentleman that I worked with before Amy and I got married, wanted a little extra pocket change. And I said, Jerry, if you come help me move her stuff to my house, because we were getting married like in a week, I said, I'll pay you. And so me and him were talking about something, and we were coming into Fitzgerald. And Jerry's a guy that I play basketball with time to time. Me and him cut up all the time. We're going into Fitzgerald off the Bones Mill Road. And I was talking to him about something, and I was telling him, it didn't make sense. There wasn't no logic in this person's behavior. And Jerry's sitting in the passenger seat, and I said, it's so stupid. I said, where's the logic, Jerry? Where's the logic? The joker looks out the window, and he goes, I don't know. I ain't never been to Fitzgerald. I said, do what? He goes, I don't know where the logic is. He said, I ain't never been here. I went, Jerry, you are a legitimate moron. Jerry was looking out the window looking for logic.
Well, Washington, D.C. needs to be looking for it, too.
Oh, my goodness, man. What is going on? What's going on with the world?
Hot mess.
Okay, you're a few years older than me. How old? I was 10 years old when the towers went.
When the towers fell?
Yep.
I was like 12.
You were 12. Okay. I remember when that happened. I even as a 10-year-old boy, I realized the severity.
Oh, yeah,
I was like,
too.
This is... Matter of fact, I was like, man, we're in war. I thought, people are going to start, shooting us up and here in the homeland.
Yeah.
What was going through your mind?
Well, I was in 7th grade science class and just getting started with the lesson, and the teacher from across the hall ran over and said, planes hit the World Trade Center. So she had a 13-inch TV in her room. So all of us piled in her room and stayed for hours and watched. We watched the first building fall. And
horrendous. From time to time, I go back and watch those videos, and I just feel the emotion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. 20 years
imagine.
later.
20 years. I was a 10-year-old boy, and I remember they did like a candlelight vigil like a few days after that happened, and they wanted every American to stand outside with a candle or some type of light to reverence those that had died in that awful attack. And I remember standing out there with my mom and my brother and sister outside of our house and just thinking, man, what is going on? Even as a young boy, I realized, man, life was changing.
Yeah. And it did, for sure.
So you look at the world events that are unfolding before our eyes right now. You are, if anybody needs to know who the political pundit and the guy charging this super PAC known as Pentecast, it is Ryan Sellers. He is our analyst of all things news. And I wanted to title this message. There we go, preaching.
Preach it, brother.
I wanted to title this episode, rather, American Gospel, the American Gospel. Because I've been out of the country a few times. I went to Canada. I've been to Mexico a couple times, once or twice, I think. And then about 6 years ago, I went to the Dominican Republic to help in harvest. I think it's harvest season. Brother Steve Gentry's over it. His mission work. And
they couldn't have done it without you.
No, they didn't. We built the building.
The videos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brother Steve, I don't think he was too happy with me, but I had a blast.
I don't think that donkey was real happy with you either.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, if you need that video, just talk to Brother Justin Sage. He will deliver that video gladly to anybody who wants it. But I've been out of the country, and the reason why I titled it "The American Gospel" is because really it's exclusive to our borders. We're here in the South. I was driving home the other day from work.
We're even removed from the rest of the country.
We really are,
not
Ryan.
to mention the world.
I'm driving home from work the other day, and dude, this 5-footer, rattler. I'm driving, and I see it. Boom. Knock it over, run over it, back up, hear it just pop like a firecracker under the wheel, just its body just explodes. I hope I'm graphic enough. I killed the snake, okay?
Thanks for that vivid description.
And, but I say that, and people that live out in the city or whatever, they're like, these guys this is like swamp people, holiness style. Mm-hmm. But we live in the woods, man. We live in the country, and we have a simple life, and
we like it that way.
And we want it. I don't want it to change. No. I want it to be just like it is, because this is like heaven to me, okay? Amen. And you go to these other places, and we, like you said, are disconnected from even our own countrymen. Mm-hmm. But when you step outside of the United States, you realize how blessed we are.
Yes, sir.
We're really blessed.
Brother. And, 9/11's coming up. I don't know exactly when this airs, but it'll be just a week or so away from 9/11, 20th year anniversary. And here we sat tonight, and in the past week, 10 days, the government in Afghanistan has been
overrun
by the Taliban. A word that we haven't even used for a long time, Taliban. Mm-hmm. It was a word we used daily 20 years ago, 18 years ago. Your brother-in-law went over there and fought. Our friend Brian Wells also.
Another brother of mine, yeah.
Yeah, not to mention
countless others.
Countless others.
Yep, several tours.
Yep, they went over there and fought for this country and for that country.
Yep.
And then to see their work, to see it fall so quickly, that's no reflection to their input, their sacrifice at all.
No.
But it's just heartbreaking to see those people go through the turmoil that they're going through as we speak.
Yeah, it is. It's really sad to think that there could be a little girl that was born during the invasion of the United States going into Afghanistan. All they ever know is war.
Yeah.
They're 20 years old. They're 19, 18 years old. All they know is war.
Yeah.
For the last 20 years of their lives, it's been nothing but war. And what I said at church the other night was they're fixing to get a glimpse of what we went over there for.
Exactly.
Because they haven't changed.
They'll see what we prevented from happening.
You know, one thing that really infuriated me, there was a YouTube channel of this person putting on this Taliban propaganda. But yet the president can't tweet. Mm-hmm. And he can't be on Facebook. But yet leaders of the Taliban can
use
voice
our social media.
It is repulsive.
It is,
to be honest with you. And I saw this video. It popped up in my news feed because I was keeping up with what was going on over there, and it was this Taliban leader in tears because his countrymen were fleeing, and he was saying, we come to protect you, we come to help you. And so it was this propaganda that this person was putting up going, see, this is what the U.S. doesn't want you to see, that the Taliban are bringing peace. They're bringing, the Afghan government was, they were corrupt or whatever. It's so sad, though, that you see the shape that country is in. If they were bringing peace and everything was fine, why are grown men hanging on to the tires of an airplane as it takes off to get out of the country if everything was just kosher? It's disgusting.
It is. It is. And even as we speak, how many American citizens are hiding in basements and in closets in Afghanistan waiting on someone to come through the door and kill them?
Yeah.
You know?
How much faith would you have in your nation if it left you over there?
None.
Zero. And I know everybody has an opinion, and I know this is where, I think you and I said this last year. If you're coming to us for your news and your source of, hey, this is my opinion too,
be careful.
You need to tune into somewhere else.
Yeah.
This is just our ignorant opinion on what we see and what we hear. I don't have all the facts, but what I see is this, that because America is so disconnected from the rest of the world and what really is global reality, I'm not a globalist.
No,
I'm
not either.
I live in America, and I want to see America prosper.
Yeah.
I want to see the world prosper.
Sure.
This is God's creation.
Yeah.
I'm not a nationalist. But I guess you can't be one or the other. I mean, I don't know. There's a fine line there. I love the world, but I don't think
I love this country more.
I do love this country more. Yes.
It's a struggle for me too. I'm pro-America, period. Pro-America, period. But, I mean, that doesn't mean I want harm to come to anyone.
Yeah.
But I don't want to harm myself so someone else can prosper.
So 20 years... We're over there. We're looking for the bad guys. We're looking for weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
You know, we're looking for Saddam Hussein. Found him. He's dead.
Yep.
Found Osama bin Laden.
May not have been the greatest thing to do.
Yeah.
Hussein.
Yeah. Who knows?
Who knows? He's dead.
He's dead. Yeah, he's dead. You know. But we killed Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, that was a good move.
The man who pretty much orchestrated the attack on America.
Yep.
I think right then and there, like I said, this is just my ignorant opinion. I think right then and there we probably should have called it quits and said, hey, mission accomplished. But I think where the disagreement is right now on both sides, this is the most unified I think I've ever seen the Republicans and Democrats on a subject. It doesn't matter where you fall on the spectrum or the category. It's horrendous.
Yeah.
What has happened the last couple of weeks has been horrendous.
Both sides agree with that. And Congressman Dan Crenshaw from Texas. If you don't know him, you need to watch some of his stuff because he's a beast. And he's a veteran. And I watched a little clip of him this past week, and he said, he was being interviewed, how do you feel that you went over there and fought and lost an eye and got injured, and it's fallen so easily. He said, I went over there, and I want my fellow veterans to remember that we didn't go in vain. We didn't lose our friends in vain. You didn't lose your loved ones in vain. We went over there to prevent another 9/11, and we did for 20 years.
For 20 years.
So, 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, you're right. 2 decades. I'm a 30-year-old man now, and I was a little boy when it happened.
Yeah.
I was 10 years old.
So, I don't know. Again, I'm just as ignorant as anybody. I don't think that their government could have survived without a U.S. presence there in some form. Just the nature of the people. Kind of like South Vietnam 40, 50 years ago.
Well, don't you think that history repeated itself right then and there?
Oh, yeah.
Because we tried to make...
It was a mirror image.
It really, on a worse scale.
Yeah.
Spent more money, spent more time over there.
Yeah. Thankfully, we didn't lose as many soldiers as we did in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But
you're right. And then the departure was just as abysmal.
Just as ugly.
Just as awful.
Yep.
And
helicopter on top of embassy, same thing.
Same thing. And you know what's sad, though, is you look at it and you wonder if you're not thinking, and we only have one mind to think.
Sure.
I'm here in America. I'm living here. But my mind is thinking, okay, well, hey, no one cares.
Yep.
There's people in every country right now, people in high authority that are looking at the United States going, we hate them.
Yeah.
They need to be destroyed.
Yeah.
And so there again, with the title being the American gospel, we think that everybody thinks like us.
No, they do not.
And I think in a church, we can learn something from this by going, you know what? There are differences of opinion, and they believe it just as strong, if not stronger, than you do.
Yeah.
And you're not always right.
No.
And sometimes we make mistakes, and that we have to own up to those mistakes. Yeah. And for the United States, where we live, this is one of them, that we're going to have to own up to our mistakes, that we shouldn't go around nation building.
No.
And I think we tried it there, and it just shows you how quick it can fall if the people don't have a will to. They don't want your lifestyle.
No, they don't.
You know, they don't want
like
your
you.
God.
You know, I've watched a lot of stuff on Vietnam, and one very colorful veteran, he said, you know, those guys were coming in. Their dads fought in the Second World War. You know, they came in, liberated countries, were heroes. You know, heroes. People flogged them in the street because they were just in love with the fact
because it was for a noble cause.
Yes, yes, and they saved their lives. And the American soldier, the Allies, all of them were heroes. He said, I went over there expecting to be welcomed in that same way. He said they hated me just because I was an American. And I think our soldiers experience the same thing in the Middle East.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because we try to impose our beliefs, our lifestyle.
And again,
our culture.
Yeah. I don't have the answers by any means. You know, I was thinking just today, what should you do? You know, what should the U.S. government do? We've spent 20 years in a country. We've established
trillions and trillions of dollars.
And trillions and trillions of dollars. Some well spent, a lot not well spent. What do you do now that it's fallen? Do you go back in there and take it back over? I don't think that.
How would that go over with the American people?
It wouldn't.
Yeah.
So,
but you know what makes me it really makes me.
Do you just cut your losses and say, that's tough?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at the Soviets in '91. Their tanks were the ones on the hill. And now it's ours. Can you imagine? Hey, for 20 years, you know, our taxpayer dollars funded the Taliban. Those that we tried to defeat, all of the guns, all of the grenades, all of the Humvees, all of the tanks. It makes me sick to my stomach
to know. As a fiscally conservative person, it just makes me furious.
Yeah, but you know what? I don't care who you are or how you vote. That should make everybody sick to their stomach to know that.
Yep.
To know that we attempted in nation building, and it backfired on us. It really did. It backfired. But to go back and to understand that we, as a people, we've got to pray for our world, you know.
Yes, we do.
And we've got to understand that my thought process is not like everybody else's.
No.
And it's not my way or the highway. We have it, honestly. We have it too good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We have the right to assemble. You know, honestly, last year when our churches were shutting down, we thought that this was the end, persecution.
Oh, yeah.
We shut our own churches down.
That wasn't
they didn't mark our churches. No. You know, we shut them down ourselves. Now, there were some liberal cities that were causing grief. We prayed for those churches, but they're up as far as I know. Pastors aren't in jail and everything's going fine. You know, you don't hear much about that anymore.
No.
But
and
true
COVID's
persecution
probably worse now than it was then.
Exactly. But true persecution. You know, we think if we get bullied at school, man, I'll tell you what, it's the end times.
It's getting shot in the head just because you're a Christian. Getting your head cut off with a sword just because you're a Christian.
And it's like you just said, there's American citizens right now hiding in basements, but also there are church assemblies, Christian, Afghanistan civilians that are Christians that are hiding and waiting to die.
Yeah, just because they're a Christian.
Just because they're Christian.
And it's hard for us as South Georgians and as Americans to look at someone from Afghanistan, from the Middle East, and have anything in common with them.
You don't.
But they are human, and we should have compassion for those people, not only for the American citizens that are still trapped there, and many will die. That's my prophecy. But just for the Afghani people, their world is
turned
destroyed,
upside down.
Turned upside down. so many will perish. And it's so sad.
It is.
And it's easy for us to sit over here in our air-conditioned homes and go get a cold drink out of the refrigerator and sit on our couch and
problems.
And pout about our problems when there's an entire world that is truly suffering.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I don't want the way I'm living in America to make me think, hey, this is the way it is everywhere in the world. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be so spoiled where I fail to realize how good I have it. Mm-hmm. And also that there's people in need everywhere you look, everywhere you turn. Our world's in a mess, man.
Yes, sir.
Our world is in a pure mess. Sir. And you know who has to rise to the occasion?
We do.
God's children.
Yep.
We must rise to the occasion because the world's counting on us.
We harped a lot on politics last year, 2020, to the point that some of our fellow church members were distraught with us. But, and I don't want to get on the soapbox, but elections do happen every 4 years, but we're American citizens every single day.
Bingo, yeah.
So, as Christians, I know politics is a dirty, dirty business, and it's so dirty till we don't want to talk about it unless there's an election coming up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But we've got a country that is heading in a direction that we don't like.
Disaster. Shipwreck.
Yes.
Shipwreck.
And as Christian people, we should pray for this country, pray for its leaders, whether you voted for them or not.
Bingo.
And do our part on a daily basis to make this world a better place.
That's right. And learn from this 20-year experience. If Jesus wanted to build his kingdom here, he would have done it.
Yeah.
And as Christians, I think that we try to build this perfect world that's a fallen world, it's a sinful world. We can't build the nation of God or the kingdom of God here when he didn't. Mm-mm. His kingdom is in a better place.
Yeah.
No
absolutely.
sin, no sorrow. And the Christians in Afghanistan and everywhere else are going to experience the same bliss and peace as you and I if we make heaven our home. And that's the end goal. That is the end goal.
That's it. So when you see people in need, reach out a helping hand to them. Pray for this country. Pray for this world.
Yes.
Pray for the leaders that run this country and this world. And let's do our part to make it a better place.
Absolutely. Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there ye may be also. And whither I go ye know, and the way ye know. You know the way, folks. The way is the cross. Have a great week. Thank you. God bless.
We love you. Over and under.